Hey, what up, superstars? It's your boy Bet On Me with some more Destiny 2 content. In this video, I'm gonna give you guys one of the best hunter builds in Destiny 2 that I have ever seen. And to be honest with you, I believe this is the best one I've ever seen. So I'm gonna break down the full build, including all the mods, so you guys will be ready for day one Crota's raid. Also, I definitely want to tell you guys, welcome to the channel. I appreciate the support. Now, I've seen several different versions of this hunter build because it is so popular, but shout out to YouTuber Corridors of Time because he was the first one I saw it from. Now, this build is going to be centered around the Strand Hunter subclass Thread Runner and the Super Silk Strike. We're going to pair the subclass with the reworked helmet Foe Tracer Exotic because it has the perk Relentless Tracker. Damaging a powerful combatant or guardian with an ability grants you a temporary bonus to weapon damage matching your subclass type. So defeating that target with a weapon matching the damage type of your subclass creates an elemental pickup. So for 10 seconds, we're going to get a 25% damage boost when we get a kill with a weapon that matches our subclass. So we're going to be using the Strand subclass, so we're going to be able to create a lot of tangles to use in our damage output. Also, we will be using the exotic auto rifle Quicksilver because it's a strand shooting weapon, but also it has the exotic catalyst Nano Entanglement, which this weapon damage type becomes strand, and final blows with the grenade from this weapon creates tangles. And for our first aspect, we're going to be using Widow's Silk because it's going to give you the additional grenade charge. Now, if you're using your grapple hook, it's going to create a grapple tangle at the grapple point, but we're not going to be using grapple. But the main reason we're using it is because of this additional grenade charge, and I'm going to explain more in a second. This is where the build really just gets nasty because of this new strand aspect, Whirling Maelstrom. When you destroy a tangle, it will weave a violet whirling mass of strand fibers. The strand mass seeks out and damage targets, emitting unraveling projectiles when it defeats them. So you can see from the gameplay going in the background, that's exactly what's happening. It's creating just mass hysteria and damage where it's just really killing anything that's in its way. So with the tangles, you can shoot them to destroy them, or you can pick them up and throw them to deal damage. And this was crazy. Defeating targets afflicted by any strand debuff will unwind them and create another tangle. So with the unraveling perk that's with this Whirling Maelstrom, as the target takes more damage, it creates more unraveling projectiles that seek out nearby targets. So when it's unraveling rounds from your strand weapons, it pierces the shields of barrier champions and also stun them, and unraveling targets unwind them into a tangle when defeated. This is really big when it comes to in-game activities because not only are you going to do a lot of damage to the bosses, but you're also going to be able to clear a lot of ads as well. So you're going to be a double threat to your fire team. Also, with this aspect, if a target is defeated by a weapon that matches your subclass, they should create a tangle on their death. So you're going to be able to just keep rinsing and repeating, guys. This is going to do so much damage and it's going to clear so many ads, man. This is just amazing. I can't believe Bungie made this. I really props to Bungie for coming up with this type of aspect. Also, down in the comment section, guys, I definitely want to know what you guys think about this build. What are some of the things you would change, or what are some of the things you would keep? So for the strand melee, we're going with Threaded Spike. Throw a rope dart that bounces between targets, damaging and severing them. The dart will return to you once it's done and returning melee energy to you for each target that's hit. And because of the perk from the Foe Tracer Exotic Helmet, this is going to add an extra 40% damage to target. So for our grenade, we're going with the Shackle Grenade. So when you throw a weapon of weighted strand matter that detonates on impact, it suspends targets and create an additional suspended sub-projectiles. So with those suspended targets, it's going to unwind into a tangle when you defeat them. And because of the Force Tracer perk, when you hit an enemy with that tangle, it's going to add that 40% damage as well. And this build is nasty, guys. I'm telling you, it's nothing like it. All right, so let's get into the fragments so I can show you even how better this build is going to be. For the first strand fragment, we're going with Thread of Warding. Picking up an Orb of Power grants Woven Mail. So that's going to give us a 60% damage resistance. And that's definitely going to give you some extra survivability for in-game content like raids. And the next fragment is Thread of Transmutation. While you have a Woven Mail, weapon final blows create a tangle. So that's more tangles to throw. also is going to add plus 10 strength to your melee cooldown. Next is Thread of Generation, because dealing damage creates grenade energy. That'll help us use our threaded spike melee even more. And lastly is Thread of Continuity. Suspend, unravel, and severe effects applied to targets have increased duration. So when the target is suspended, unraveled, or severed, remember they're gonna create a tangle and it's gonna increase that duration. So man, I'm telling you, this thing is really a good build. Alright, so now let's get into some of the seasonal artifact mods that we're gonna use with this build. So the first artifact perk we're gonna be using is the anti-barrier auto rifle, because we are using the auto rifle, so the barrier champions will get stunned by using this mod. Next, we're using the origin perk specialization 1, because it's greatly gonna improve the benefit from the tracer rockets, the nano tracer rockets, so it's actually going to increase that damage by 20%. Now I'm also using a fusion rifle on my build. It just kind of really depends on what weapons you want to use, but I'm using the unstoppable fusion rifle because it's strong against unstoppable champions. Next is elemental fury. While stunned, champions take bonus damage from your abilities and elemental orb damage. And a must-have is communal pickups, because when an ally destroys a pickup your tangle or elemental webs, the tangle cooldown is reduced by 5 seconds and you gain bonus damage with the weapons matching your subclass for 10 seconds. Because see, the normal tangle cooldown is 10 seconds, but like I said, if one of your teammates pick up your tangle, that's going to make it to where your next tangle goes down to 5 seconds cooldown. So like I said, this is definitely a must perk to have with this build that we're using. Next, we have refreshing pickups. Pick up a tangle or elemental orb grants energy to your least powered ability. So it's going to give us 25% to our lowest ability, but then remember, when we pick up the tangle, it's also going to perk the foe tracer extra damage. So this is really good to use. Next is elemental munitions. Combatants' final blow with tangles or elemental orbs have a chance to drop special or heavy ammo. Or you could go at rapid fire ranger. Rapid precision hits against distant combatants weaken them for a short duration. So it's going to give you a 15% weaken debuff, and you have to be at least 40 meters away for this thing to perk. Alright, so now let's get into the weapon armor mods that we're going to be using for this build. So since we're using the elemental munitions, I will use the heavy ammo scout. When one of your ammo finder perks create a brick of heavy ammo for you, it also creates a brick of heavy ammo for your ally. I also like to use the heavy ammo finder because let's be honest, man, you're gonna need a lot of heavy ammo in in-game activities. For the gauntlets, we're going with impact induction, causing damage with a melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown, and momentum transfer, because causing damage with a grenade reduces your melee cooldown. And we're going with that grenade kickstart because collecting the orb of power causes you to gain 1 temporary armor charge. So for the chest, I'm using concussive dampener because it reduces the incoming area of effect damage from combatants, and I'm also using the solar resistance, but you can use any mod you want to use there depending on what damage you think you're going to take. And for the legs, we're going with stacks on stacks. Picking up an orb to grant you 1 additional stack of an armor charge. Then invigoration, reducing melee cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. And we're also using recuperation, replenishes health each time you pick up an orb of power. Now for the mods on our hunter cloak, we're going with Reaper, which after using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns an orb of power. And then Bomber reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. And next we're going to use Outreach, which reduces melee cooldown when you're using your class ability. If you are interested in more Destiny 2 subclass builds for Titan, Warlock, and Hunter, I would suggest you watch this playlist next. Also, don't forget to like and sub. You guys have a blessed day. Peace.